What is up, YouTube? This is Mr. Keen coming at you live. So today, what we're going to be talking about is STEM careers, an overall guide, and I'm going to be reviewing 12 high paying plus in-demand jobs in the STEM field. And if you don't know what STEM means, it stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And that is a super big buzzword these days, so you better memorize it. First job. So first off, let's talk about why STEM. Right? Why should we even care about STEM? Well, a sobering fact is that the US lost 60 million jobs in light of the pandemic, and we are posed to lose many more as time goes on. You may be wondering, why are we going to keep losing jobs? Well, the reason is automation and artificial intelligence. So, a lot of jobs, like bank tellers or maybe like cashiers, a lot of them are getting replaced by machines. So jobs you may have expected to have in the future may not necessarily be there. But the exception is STEM careers. Those science, technology, engineering, and math careers are expected to grow. So we're going to be looking at some of the most common STEM jobs just so you have a good idea of possible careers that you could do as a student. The first job I want to talk about is a doctor. Okay? You probably know what a doctor does. Doctors are responsible for diagnosing and treating disease. And they work with patients a lot, but they also work with other doctors a lot to try and figure out what the patient has. And the way it integrates with other subjects, you do a lot of biology, chemistry, and use technology a lot. The average salary is really high, 200,000, and you do need to go to college and medical school. So 4 years of college and then 4 years of medical school. The job outlook is average. Doctors are protected, so they keep a high salary. So only about 3% of the current doctors are expected to have openings. So, like, for example, for 3% growth, if you have 100 doctors, you can expect there to be 103 doctor positions next year. So that's like average growth, not a ton, which is why medical school can be very competitive. Related jobs, if you don't want to be a doctor, include medical assistant, nurse, or physician assistant. And if you really like science, helping people, and problem solving, then I do recommend medicine for you. A job similar to a doctor is a nurse. What they do is provide and coordinate care. So instead of diagnosing the illness, they'll be doing a lot more of the actual caregiving. And to become a nurse, you need to be really comfortable with biology, chemistry, and health, like nutrition and anatomy. The average salary is 80,000, and there's a lot of career avenues or education avenues for nurses, but you do have to go to college and get a license for nursing. The job outlook for nurses is amazing. There is a nursing shortage in this nation. So if you want to be a nurse, there are very high chances that you'll get the job. There are similar jobs, including medical assistant, nurse practitioner, and nurse assistant. A practitioner is like a doctor. They do a lot of the same stuff, but they started out as a nurse. Why choose nurse practitioner or nurse? If you really like science and helping people and spending time with the patient a lot more than a doctor. Next, we're going to stay with the science topic, research scientists. They are the ones that investigate questions and conduct the research themselves and design their own experiments. They often work at a university or like a biotech or pharmaceutical company, and they do a lot of research using technology and math. The average salary is 100,000, but you do need to go to college and graduate school, which is usually like 4 to 6 additional years on top of like undergraduate school, which is 4 years. So it can be a lot of education to be a scientist. So if you really like school, then a research scientist is a good job for you. The job look is really good for technology fields. So if you're really interested in computers and technology and you want to conduct experiments, then there's a lot of job security there. Why choose this one? If you like science, investigations, statistics, and learning, because you're going to be in school a lot. Next job is software developer. what you will do as a software developer is create, design, and update computer programs. So they do a lot of the nuts and bolts of the apps that you use every day. The average salary is really high, 120,000. You do need to go to college for 4 years and get a degree. Some other things about software developers, they have very great job outlook. There's consistent growth expected in software developers. Similar jobs include like a web developer or machine learning engineer. If you really like working from home using computers and coding, then this is a great job for you. Next, this one we're going to keep with the technology trend. We're going to talk about animators. The job outlook is good, around 5% growth. So once again, like if there's 100 animators, you could expect 105 animators next year. So that's how much growth there's going to be. 5% job openings. Related jobs include graphic designer, film editor, freelance artist. And if you really like TV industry and graphic design, animator is a great job for you. If you're not familiar with what they create and design images and then create frames to animate a story. The average salary is 70,000, and while a degree is not required, it is recommended for a lot of the positions. So that's an animator. Next, we have information security analyst. This job, I want you to think cybersecurity. They install software to protect information in the computer network. If you really like computers, firewalls, and hacking, then this would be a great job for you. High salary, 130,000, and you do need to go to 4 years of college. The job outlook is really, really good because you've probably heard in the news a lot of leaks and hackers. So there's a lot of jobs to protect the corporations and their information. Related jobs would include like a security engineer, IT auditor, or a security software developer. And if you really like coding, security, and working with computers, then this would be a perfect job for you. Next, we're going to talk more about engineering jobs. We have civil engineer, and I want you to think civil engineer is like infrastructure. So they work, design, and maintain roads, airports, railways, energy, utilities, a lot of different like city projects. If you really like math, engineering, design, then civil engineer is perfect for you. The average salary is 90,000, and you do need to go to 4 years of college. The job outlook is average, steady growth around 7% of the workforce is expected to grow. Related jobs, if civil engineer is for you, you could try mechanical engineer, construction manager, or environmental engineer. And if you really like design, math, and working with your hands, then civil engineer is a great job for you. Next, similar to civil engineer, we have aerospace engineer. These people are focused on like aerospace, spacecraft, satellites, and missiles. So if you really like math, engineering, design, it's perfect for you. Average salary is very high, 140,000, and you do need to go to 4 years of college. Job outlook is average. Around 6% of jobs are expected to open. And mechanical engineer, aircraft structural repair, and design engineer are all related to aerospace engineering. If you really like space, math, design, and working with your hands, it's a great job for you. Next, in the engineering column, we have biomedical engineer. So what these people do, they develop new devices and equipment for improving human health. So that could be like prosthetics or like developing medicine. And if you really like biology, chemistry, physics, genetics, engineering, and design, this job entails a lot of different science fields. So it's really integrated with a lot of science. The average salary is high, 100,000. Do need to go to 4 years of college and get a degree. The job outlook is really good, around 10% job growth. So like once again, let's say there's 1,000 biomedical jobs, then you could expect 1,100 the next year. So 100 job openings. That would be like 10% job growth. Related jobs would be like chemical engineer, stem cell engineer, or manufacturing engineer. If you really like medicine, math, and working with your hands and robotics, biomedical engineer is a great route for you. Next, we have auditor. So what auditors do, so now we're going to be talking about more math-related careers. Auditor, they work with finances. And when you hear the word finance, when do you think money? So what an auditor does is they review accounting records and make sure companies are being honest or accurate with their finances. If you really like math, finances and spreadsheets, this is a great job for you. The average salary is 90,000. Do you need to go to 4 years of college? The job outlook is really good. 10%, one of the most in-demand jobs in finance. So very high job security here. Related jobs to auditor would be like a financial analyst, budgeting analyst, or actuary. If you really like spreadsheets, job security, and money or finances, auditor is a great job for you. Next, we have a statistician. When you hear statistician, I want you to think like working with statistics. So what they do is they collect data and then they help companies make decisions based on the data they collected. So it's really well integrated with math data and communication. Average salary is high, 120,000. Do you need to go to college? And most companies require a master's degree too. So that's an additional 2 years to get a master's. The job outlook though is extremely high. A lot of companies are hiring statisticians because they are really useful for helping companies make decisions based on like marketing trends and things like that. There are related jobs like data analyst, computer systems analyst, a lot of different like analytical positions. If you really like working with numbers, really like job security, not getting fired, or not having to worry about getting a job, and if you're like problem solving, it's a great job for you. Last job in the math department, we're going to talk about financial analysts. So remember, financial, think money. So what they do is analyze a company's finances and make predictions based on their current financial records. If you're like math, business, and like it's strategy, it's a great job for you. Their salary varies a lot, like many of these jobs, but the average one is 90,000. You do need to go to college, 4 years to be a financial analyst. The job outlook though is better than average, 12%. Related jobs include business consultant, finance advisor, or auditor. And if you really like money, following businesses and predicting how companies will perform, that is a great job for you. And just to recap, research shows that students who are more aware of STEM careers from an earlier age are more likely to eventually be employed in that STEM career. So we do have a STEM career shortage. So a lot of jobs are going away right now, but also a lot of jobs are opening up in this field. So the sooner you are aware about like a lot of job opportunities, the more likely you are to actually get one. And unfortunately, we have a really high poverty rate right now. The wealth gap is huge in America. We have a lot of poor people and a small amount of rich people that are hoarding a lot of wealth. So financial security, being able to afford everything that you have, can be increasingly difficult. And the reason why I'm going over these jobs is because a lot of them make a lot of money. So you wouldn't necessarily have to worry about like losing your job or having to live paycheck to paycheck with a lot of these like more science and like engineering jobs. That's why I want to talk to you about them today. Here's where I got most of my information. And if you want to read more or like do more research, I also included these resources. If you want to learn more about like job salaries, scholarships, or like YouTube videos that I recommend, I'll put these in the description as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Please like, comment, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great night.